Good afternoon. I'm California State Treasurer Fiona Ma, and I would like to welcome you to this CalAble webinar. As State Treasurer, I believe that CalAble is an excellent financial tool for Californians with disabilities. For the first time, eligible individuals on means-tested benefit programs can save up to $100,000 without having their benefits impacted. CalAble is a game changer, providing people with disabilities a low-cost, tax-advantaged way to save and invest for a better financial future. I am committed to promoting this program and for doing all that I can to continue to help people with disabilities strengthen their financial position to achieve a better life experience. Thank you for joining us today and for your continued support of the CalAble program. I will turn things over to the CalAble team to begin today's webinar.
Thank you so much, Treasurer Ma. I am Ann Osborne, the Deputy Executive Director here at CalAble. Before we begin our webinar, Able to Work with CalAble, we're going to have some polls that are going to come up, and Madeline is going to start those polls for us.
Great, thank you, Anne. Let me get this first poll launched. Okay, so we want to know who is on today. Are you a current CalAble account holder? Maybe you manage a CalAble account for somebody else as an authorized legal representative. Maybe you are a potential CalAble participant. We do have the Able Age Adjustment happening next year, so that's why they're split up into eligible now or eligible in 2026. Because maybe you're here to get knowledge because you want to open your account in 2026. And maybe you're a state employee or service provider who is here to get information for your clients. I will give everyone just a few more seconds to fill out this poll. Okay, let me end this poll and share the results. So we have a lot of service providers on today. That does seem to be the majority category at 27%. Also some state employees as well. And then we have a good number of current account holders and authorized legal representatives on today, as well as some potential account holders. So today's material is going to have something for everyone. So thank you for joining us today. We go to the next poll. Okay, so are you currently working? And if you're a service provider or a state employee, you can put maybe for your clients, or you don't have to answer this one. So are you currently working? Yes, no, or you are job searching? Okay, I'll go ahead and that poll. So the results, so we have 46% of attendees are currently working. And so CalAble has some really great features for workers. So we are very excited to share that with you today. CalAble also has a bunch of resources. If you're not working, you don't need to be employed to have a CalAble account. So we will be sharing that today. And then for those of you who are job searching, you can think about how a CalAble account can help with gaining employment and then also with those expenses to be employed. Okay, and then the last poll for this section, really easy. Have you attended a CalAble webinar before? Yes or no? Okay, let me share these results. So we have 59% of attendees on today have attended a CalAble webinar before. So welcome back. And then for the 41% of you who haven't, you're going to learn a lot of great content about CalAble today. So I'll turn things back over to Anne now.
Thank you so much, Madeline, and thank you for everyone for participating in the poll. It really helps us know our audience. So still quite a few of you have not attended, so we're going to go through this fairly quickly, and then there is additional information about CalAble on our YouTube channel, and we have a full, program that's dedicated to all about the CalAble program. So we're just going to touch surface here today. So CalAble basics. Next slide, please. So CalAble is a savings and investment account for people with disabilities. And this really does help people save for the future while protecting their benefits. Just a little history here. This is actually a law that was passed in 2014. So we are actually under the federal law. And so this federal law gave the states the ability to offer these programs to account holders. So that is why we have CalAble here in California. Next slide, please. So who is eligible for CalAble? The first thing is you need to have a disability. And right now, until the end of this year, as long as that disability occurred before age 26, and if you are receiving SSI or SSDI, you're automatically eligible. As long as that disability occurred before age 26. If you're not receiving either one of these benefits, you can still open the CalAble account. Again, this is really designed for somebody who has a disability. And if you are not receiving those, you can actually go to our website with more eligibility questions. Social Security has a publication, and if you go there, you can look up your disability to see if you are eligible. And if you are, then what we recommend is that you have a letter from your physician stating that that disability occurred before age 26. In January, this age is going to increase to 46. So just a couple more months if you're we had some people here who are looking to open this in January. So just stay tuned for a couple more months and you will be able to open up your account. Again,
And just
yes.
really quick, we had a request for you to just slow down a little bit.
Okay, I will do that. So in January, as I mentioned, that age is going to increase from 26 to 46. So if you're on SSI or SSDI and that your disability occurs after 26 in January, you will be eligible to open this account. Again, CalAble is available for anybody that has a disability. So we'll go to the next slide. So why have a CalAble account? We all know that having this disability can be expensive. Also, if you want to save money and protect your benefits, this is a great way for you to do that. And it also gives you a place to have some independence and to possibly grow some financial wealth as well. So we'll move to the next slide. What type of benefits would CalAble protect? It does protect anybody that is on SSI. If you're receiving CalFresh, it does not count towards CalFresh. It doesn't count towards the head vouchers, Section 8, and also Medi-Cal. You are protected from all of these benefits. So if you're receiving CalAble and you're receiving any of these benefits, the balance of the CalAble account does not count in there. One thing is, and I think people who are on Social SSI know that you can't have more than $2,000 in your account. So with that CalAble account, if you were receiving anything from family or friends, they could put that money in the CalAble account and it is protected. And so you see the number of 100,000. We'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. We'll go to the next slide. So understanding income and assets, this is always a question we get asked a lot. So what is income? Income is really how much money you make. That would be anything that was coming from your paychecks. And we also have gifts from family and friends, and that's for some benefit programs. But if you're getting a gift from a family or friend, and it's just a gift, that does not count in your income. And your assets, how much money do you have? It would be any cash that you'd have or money in your bank account. As you see here in the slide, it says CalAble protects any assets saved in the account and prevents deposit gifts from counting as income. So that is the difference between income and assets. We'll go to the next slide. So Raymond is actually one of our ambassadors, and he actually has a CalAble account. And the reason he likes having this account is because he can save, but it also gives him financial peace of mind. So if he can always keep his bank account under $2,000, if he has anything above that, he can put that in his CalAble account and still maintain his benefits. We'll go to the next slide. How do I use a CalAble account? Next slide. We're going to play Curtis's video. Curtis is actually one of our ambassadors. He was unable to make it today, but I think you will certainly enjoy his story.
I am Curtis. I'm 42 years old. I live in Northridge, California. I like to do gardening, playing the piano, take pictures of action shots, nature, and people. I have Tourette's, ADHD, and I went to biofeedback to, when I was a kid to help it, and now I'm a lot better. I work at Albertsons, and I use the money when I get paid to put into the CalAble account to save. So I can save for long term for my retirement, and like if I need long-term care, and using it for like as an emergency fund if I need emergency money, and I also save for like short-term, like getting groceries, save up for trips, and also personal needs. The best feature for CalAble is if you want to do a gifting, you can. People could ask, for like birthday gifts if they want. Instead of getting an actual birthday gift, they can ask them to put money into the CalAble account. We are CalAble!
So that is Curtis, as he is actually working right now, and so he does put money into his CalAble account. So how much can you contribute to your CalAble account? We have a couple numbers here, and I call these our magic numbers. The first number is $19,000. You can up until the end of this year in December, you can actually contribute up to $19,000 into your CalAble account. If you are receiving SSI, once that account reaches $100,000, you will need to do a spend down if you want to keep your SSI benefits. If you're not worried about that, you're not receiving SSI, our last number here is $529,000. That's how much money you can actually contribute to the account. So $19,000 is what you can put in through the end of this year. If you're receiving SSI, once your account reaches $100,000, you want to keep those benefits, you would need to do a spend down. And if you're not receiving SSI, or using it maybe as a retirement account or for some long-term planning, then you can contribute up to $529,000. We'll go to the next slide. So since this webinar is about able to work, there is another way that you can actually add to your account, and that is through able to work. And what that means is that if you are working and your employer does not have a retirement plan, you can actually put your income into the account under the able to work portal. So you can actually add up to $15,000 this year. And if you were to combine those amounts, the $19,000 from family and friends and your income from work, you would be able to save potentially up to $34,000 this year. We'll go to the next slide. How do you contribute to your account? There are several different ways. You can actually do reoccurring contributions. That is when you open your CalAble account, you can link your CalAble account to your regular checking account, and then you can just set aside a certain amount every month. You can put that into your CalAble account. If you are receiving SSI, you can actually have that check automatically do a direct deposit into your CalAble account. That's another way. And if you're working, you can work with your employer and they can put money into your account. If you want to set a dollar amount, you could do that. You could say, I want, $20 every time I work. I can have that put directly into my CalAble account. You can do that. Or the last way you can contribute is by the old-fashioned paper check. We'll go to the next slide. So I'm going to turn this actually over to Daniel. He is with Vestville. They are actually our program administrator, and he's going to walk you through the portal of how you would make that able to work contribution once you log into your account. So Daniel, it's up to you.
Thanks, Anne. And I believe Madeline would be guiding through the slides here. So Madeline, once I let you know, we can move on to the next slide. But just to give an overview of what everybody would be seeing on this screen, this is a make a contribution screen. And you get to this screen by clicking on the transfers option once you logged into your account. Under normal circumstances, once you log into your account and you hover under transfers, you get a list of options you can select from, contribution being one of them. And once you select contribution, it brings you to this screen. And as you can see, it gives you a brief overview of what the process is going to entail, as step 1 up to step 3. And contributions can take from 2 to 4 business days to complete. On the step right below, step 1 of 3, where do you want to make a contribution from? Now, this is where you select where the contribution would be coming from, which could be a bank account, would be a bank account that you've added to your CalAble account. So once you select that bank account, you can decide on the following step, the contribution type. If you want this to be a one-time contribution, which means, let's say you're just putting $25 today and you're done. Or you want to make a reoccurring monthly contribution, which would mean, let's say you want to put $25 every month. We're going to go with the assumption that someone wants to put $25 just one time. In that scenario, they would select one-time contribution, select next, and then it takes them to the next screen. On any given screen, if there is a required button that is not selected, the next option will be grayed out. But if all the options have been selected, you will see the next button turn blue. On this screen, you now have the option to select where you want the contribution to be allocated as. So do you want it to be a standard contribution, or do you want it to be an able to work contribution? Now, as Anne mentioned, the standard contribution would be $19,000 for this year. And I'm realizing we have some slightly outdated numbers here. The standard contribution for 2025 is $19,000. The able to work contribution for 2025 is $15,060. Today we're speaking specifically about able to work. With able to work, if the beneficiary is earning wages, you may make contributions to able to work equal to what the beneficiary's gross income is, up to $15,060, in addition to the yearly standard contribution. So in this case, if I was earning up to 15,060, I would select able to work. And with the assumption that I just made, I'm only making $25. So making $25 contribution into my account today. I'll select able to work. The box right below will turn blue. And then I'm going to click next. On the final screen, Madeline, if we're going to move to the final screen, I will be provided with, I'm sorry, the previous screen. There we go. On this screen, I'll be provided with the option to select an investment strategy. Now, you're generally prompted to put money in whatever you're already invested in. In this case, I already have most of my money allocated in the FDIC insured portfolio. So that's where the $25 I'm putting into my account is going into today. But let's say I decided I wanted to put it into any of the other investment options CalAble offers, which is actually a total of 8. I would just select contribute to a new investment option, and it's going to provide me with a list of those investment options to select to. This makes the overall process flexible, so you're not required to only put money where you put money previously. You can decide where you want your money to go to when you're making the contributions. So in this case, I would select the FDIC insured portfolio, and you hit review. Once you hit review, you hit complete, and you would receive a pop-up confirmation on your screen letting you know your contribution is in the works, and you'll receive a confirmation email. And within 2 to 4 business days, you will see money come out of the bank account that's associated with your CalAble account into your CalAble account. And a few days later would become available for use. There is another portion of this before I turn it over to Anne that we don't have screens to share today, but that I briefly wanted to mention. We have the payroll direct deposit option. Now, CalAble is one of the only programs across the nation that offers this option, where once you log into your account, you can go to direct deposit, which is right below the first tile on your screen. And it gives you the option to set up payroll direct deposit, which means selecting where you want the money to be allocated when it's received from your employer. And on the final screen, it gives you a routing number and your account number, which you can then provide to your employer to have money deposited directly into your CalAble account. That money, as long as you're not making contributions into a defined retirement plan, or your employer isn't, that money is also considered able to work money. So just another option for people to be aware of to make able to work contributions into the account, either by going to transfers and contribute, or by setting up direct deposit and sharing that information with their employers. And if anybody goes through this on their own and needs assistance in any way, we're always happy to assist. You can always reach out to our customer support team via chat when you log into your account, or you can give us a call. And I'll turn it over to you. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Daniel. And again, that amount is $15,060. And that is, again, if your employer does not have a retirement plan that you are participating in, you can select that able to work option. As we saw in the video with Curtis, he talked about getting contributions from family and friends, and you can actually do this through our e-gifting portal, and you actually access that when you're opening your account. You just select the option of e-gifting, and it's a great option to have because it basically creates a link that you can share with your family and friends. I know the holidays are coming up, and so this might be a great way that they can actually put money into your account for something special that you may be saving for. So we'll go to the next slide. And who can contribute to a CalAble account? There are the beneficiary. Again, this is your account. As the account holder, you can put your earnings. Those earnings would be counted as income. But then, if you have any other money that you that you've gotten third-party contributions, family, friends, again, that would be counted, and that would come in, and that would be considered benefits. But those would be considered, those would not be counted as, the CalAble account would not be counted as an asset, only the income. And we talked about that a little bit earlier in the presentation. And again, what you can put in for this calendar year is up to $19,000. So we'll go to the next slide, please. We're going to share a video here from Otto. So Madeline.
Hello everyone, Otto Lana here, your favorite CalAble ambassador, coming to you from Otto's Mottos. That is right, I am a small business owner, and I am proudly disabled, which makes my company a disability-owned business enterprise. Here are a couple of promo videos. Enjoy.
Sing a happy song, sing a happy song. Why don't you sing along, sing a happy song. Get on up and dance, sing a happy song. Come on, clap your hands, sing a happy song. Music's good for you.
Okay, which way do you want to go?
It can bring a real good feeling.
Do it again. Which way?
Good.
What's that? Which way's out?
Good. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh, it can be your release. It can supply you with peace, some peace of mind. Why don't you sing a happy song, sing a happy song, sing along, sing a happy song. Why don't you dance a while, sing a happy song. Come on,
Good.
sing a happy song. Let you feel the beat. Go ahead and pat your feet and let the rhythm take control. Move your body from side to side. You are feeling down. Tune right into the sound of music. Why don't you say, even Father told me, man, son, be brave. It's all okay, life is just a game. My head is in the clouds, don't feel like coming down. I'm trying to escape my sorrows. My head is in the clouds, don't feel like coming down. I ain't got time for no tomorrow. Champagne.
I am still in the building my brand phase of my business, which is the C-suite way to say, I have yet to make a profit. This does not deter me in any way, because I know CalAble will be there when I do make fat racks, to support my investment strategies for a better life experience. Thank you, CalAble, and thank you, Otto Nation. Those are my loyal customers. They help me spread the message. Everyone belongs here.
All right, so that is Otto. He is actually another one of our ambassadors, and so he wasn't able to make it, but we wanted to share his business venture with everyone. So our next screen here is investing for the future. CalAble does offer 8 professionally managed investment portfolios. As Daniel had mentioned earlier, you can look at these different investment options. They are available on our website. If you go to the calable.ca.gov website and select investments, that's where all that information is. And then if you select these investment options, they will grow over time, just depending on what you select. We do have some fees associated with these accounts. It's $30 per year. And then there are some small investment additional fees that are added on, again, depending on which portfolios you select. The big print here is you do not pay state or federal taxes on any earnings in those accounts. So if you select a portfolio, those are going to be growing tax-free. And we'll move on to the next slide. So tax time tips here. Having a CalAble account does not mean that you don't have to file taxes. If you are a person who works, as many of you possibly, several of you are already working, you will receive, if you make any withdrawals from your account, you would receive a 1099 QA. And then if you're making any contributions, you're going to receive a 5498 QA. These are just tax forms that you're going to get. You don't pay any additional taxes on these. You just put them, you just need to list them on your tax return. The reason you would want to do this is you may be eligible for the Savers Credit. So we do have a link to that information about the Savers Credit. So you might want to check that out in February. We usually in February, we will have a webinar about filing taxes. So if you have questions about that in February, check us out in February about on the tax tips that we will have. And we'll go to the next slide. And we have a poll here that Madeline is going to start for us.
Thank you, Anne. Let me get this poll up. Okay, so we want to know, what are you saving for? We ask this on most webinars. So are you saving for a first home, maybe education expenses? Maybe you're saving for a service dog or service dog related expenses. Maybe you're saving for retirement for the long term, an accessible vehicle, technology or equipment, health and wellness, recreation and vacation, or other. Since this is a question where you can select multiple answers, I'll give just a few more seconds. Okay, so I see a lot of people are saving for retirement. This is actually, I added this in for this webinar. I think we'll keep it because I was like, on the previous webinars, the other category was very popular. So I was like, what could people be saving for? But retirement, 45% of people are saving for retirement. Recreation and vacation is the other big category here at 43%. Health and wellness at 31%. Technology and equipment, 15%. First home is another big one at 26%. We have some people saving for education, accessible vehicles, and service dogs. And then the other category as well. And so this is not a trick question. These are all expenses that you can use your CalAble account for. So I'm going to let Anne talk about that. Turning it back over to you, Anne.
Thank you, Madeline. We're getting to my favorite topic, and that is, what is a qualified disability expense? And I love this question because I'm always constantly asked this: what can I spend my money on? And we saw a lot of you are saving for retirement, and that's absolutely fabulous. But sometimes you need to have money for some of those unexpected expenses. So what would that be? It can be anything that would improve your health, your independence, or quality of life. So let's go to the next slide. So in this example, and we use this directly from Social Security, and these are just categories. They are not just, this is all you can spend it on. These are just some categories that can help you figure out if that expense would qualify. So I think we can all agree that anything related to education, it's probably going to improve your health, independence, or quality of life in some way. Today we are talking about working, so anything employment, training, and support. So let's say you need to have a job coach, or you need some special equipment, or you saw Otto and he's got that little tablet thing that he uses. So maybe you need that to help you in your job. Anything that would help you in your job, that is going to be eligible for a CalAble expense, because again, does that item improve your health, independence, or quality of life. Let's say you need to get to your job. How are you going to get there? Are you going to use a rideshare program? Are you going to take public transportation? Maybe you have a friend that's going to be your driver, or whatever means that you use to get to your employer, those expenses would qualify. Again, is that going to improve your health, independence, or quality of life by going and having a job? Assistive technology, we've talked a little bit about that. What about personal support services? Let's say you need somebody to help you at your job. Again, that would be something that would qualify. Benefits planning, we have some people here that are saving for retirement. So if you needed some assistance on retirement planning strategy, you could actually use your CalAble account for something related to that. Again, does that expense improve your health, your independence, or quality of life? We have Job Coach on here. Again, is that Job Coach going to help you improve your health, independence, or quality of life? And we have so many more legal fees. You may have some legal fees setting up a small business like Otto has. There may have been some legal fees that he needed to, look at as far as his business license or something. Maybe there's work equipment. Maybe you're an artist or something, and so you need to purchase art supplies for your business. So whatever you need that's going to improve your health, your independence, or quality of life is going to be eligible. My favorite category is the and more, and we saw a lot of people that talked about saving for a vacation. So yes, is that experience going to improve your health, your independence, or quality of life? If you can answer yes to one of those items, then yes, that does qualify. CalAble does not look at your account. We don't approve your purchases. Again, that is something that you are going to decide because this is your account. You are in charge of your account, or somebody may be helping you manage this account. So then they would be making those decisions on your behalf. We do recommend that you do keep your receipts because in case your account was reviewed, it would be reviewed by someone from the IRS, just like they can look at my tax return. So again, you want to have those receipts available. We don't require it, but we do recommend that you do have that necessary documentation. One last thing here. Oh, no, I think we're good here. We'll move to the next slide. And here is Otto, as you saw him. But what Otto also has is he has a prepaid debit card, a prepaid card. And what's nice about the prepaid card is that you can actually preload it and you can use it on any of those expense items that we just talked about. So again, if you're purchasing, let's say, art supplies, or you're needing some assistive technology or whatever you would need in your job, you could actually put that on the prepaid card, and it's just like a Visa card, and you would just load it on the card, and then you would just, use that money how you need to use it. Again, we always talk about, does that expense, again, meet that criteria of does this improve your health, independence, or quality of life? And what's nice about the prepaid card, there are no monthly fees. So that's something that we have been able to offer here at CalAble to any of our account holders, that prepaid card. We'll move to the next slide, please. And this is one of our ambassadors, Adrian, and her sister is Allison, and she does have that prepaid card, and they use it together. Adrian puts money on the card for Allison, and then Allison can go and purchase items, and she has that independence, that quality of life that she enjoys having. So we'll move to the next slide. How do I open a CalAble account? I think that's a great question. Let's talk about that here. Next slide, please. So very simple. You're going to go to calable.ca.gov and you see that little yellow button there on the portal there. And you click on open an account and then you just go through and open an account. Again, you want to make sure that you're on the calable.ca.gov website. You see that the little logo in the corner, upper left-hand corner, and that lets you know that you're on the right site. We'll go to the next slide, please. So it takes about 15 minutes. We have some people who are already account holders and they can probably agree that it does take a short amount of time. Again, what do you need to know about opening an account? As I mentioned earlier, the person with the disability is always the account owner. They are the beneficiary of the funds. If you have someone that's opening it on your behalf, we would call an authorized legal representative, and they would open it for you. And who would be on that list is actually, if you look at our link here, that can give you additional information about the authorized legal representative. And the last thing I'd like to let you know is we now have 20 languages available. This is something new that CalAble has done. We have Spanish, Chinese, Korean, and several other languages. So if English is not your first language, you can check on our website and go through the application process in a language that you are familiar with. We'll go to the next slide, please. So why should workers have a CalAble account? Well, the first thing is, and we've talked a lot about this, and we saw this also, it helps you save for your future. So many of you are saving for retirement, so this is a great vehicle to help you with that. It gives you more independence. You can have that prepaid card and you can go and you can purchase items as long as it's something that improves your health, independence, or quality of life. If you're receiving SSI benefits, you can have $2,000 in your account, but anything outside of that, if you have family members that are giving you extra money, you can actually put that in your CalAble account and it's going to protect your benefits. So you can still maintain your benefits and have money in the bank as well. Again, we have those tax-free investment options. We have 8 different portfolios. And the last thing I would like to say is, it gives you that opportunity to dream. And we had a lot of items that people were dreaming for: first home, vacation, maybe something related to their health. So it just gives you that opportunity to succeed in those dreams. We'll go to the next slide. So with that, we are going to bring on Miguel. He is actually one of our ambassadors. And we are so honored to have Miguel here talk a little bit about his CalAble experience and how he's using it also, and he also works. So Miguel, my first question to you is just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, sure. So my name is Miguel Casillas. I'm based out of Southern California, in Los Angeles County, out in Redondo Beach. I'm an attorney. I'm currently running my own law firm. So that was a big step for me. And that's something that like CalAble really kind of, my CalAble account was able to kind of guide me for like a lot of expenses and things like that. But I've worked in nonprofits. I worked in the private sector, worked as an employee, as a contractor. So, and all those different capacities or employment, I guess, situations, unemployed as well. I've been able to contribute to my CalAble account.
Awesome. So you kind of answered this, but we'll still ask the question again. Can you just tell us about your work experience? I know you briefly touched on it, but is there something you'd like to highlight in your work experience?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, well, like I said, I'm an attorney. Also, aspiring, I guess, entrepreneur, and still, seeing what's out there. And like I said, and like Anne, like you said, CalAble gives us a little bit of a leash to dream a little bit, as far as like, making our current situation better, but also giving ourselves a little leeway and a little bit of a boost to think about how things could be maybe better or how we might want to grow. It's not just getting a job. Maybe you want to run your own business, and maybe you want to go back to school and continue your education and seek something that you never thought about or thought that you were maybe limited to. So that's, I guess, just my main plug for CalAble.
So, Miguel, I know you and I have had the opportunity to meet each other in person and get to know each other a little bit better. And I know you talked about telling us that you're an attorney, but I'm sure people would like to know, in your own little business, you started your own law firm. Is there something that you specialize in? Or, I mean, an attorney, that's such a big area. So is there something that you would like to share a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, I'm it's kind of like take things as they come in, and I've been, kind of still, the law is broad, and as my vision has kind of gotten worse and blind, I've been able to kind of see that there's a lot of gaps out there for people with disabilities, and so my particular focus for my law firm and I guess my advocacy is trying to address issues for people that are blind and people with disabilities. And so, CalAble is a great tool for that. Yeah, if I'm missing anything. Yeah.
So, and just thinking about, your own personal experience and looking at Otto's video, it looks, being able to, I would say, have a business that you're passionate about and something that really kind of touches you is probably something that has really been beneficial or rewarding to you starting your own business. Would you agree
Absolutely.
with that?
Absolutely, and like you said, it kind of became where because I've been contributing to my CalAble account and building it up, and it's been doing its thing. I was comfortable enough to take that leap where it's like, well, like Otto said, we're in that C-suite phase where maybe not a lot of money is coming in. We're doing a lot more pro bono and volunteering and getting our name out there, which is part of the game. Saving up into our CalAble so we can do that, and continue to grow. It's a big thing. As I started my business, office space was in it. I got office space, furniture, a lot of the things that were on that whole adaptive equipment, computers, tablets, phones, all that jazz, Wi-Fi, internet, for my space. So all that, is stuff that CalAble are qualified expenses, qualified disability expenses. So yeah, I mean it's been a big support and just kind of as a thing that I can rely on, like I said, to continue to dream bigger and hopefully be an asset to the folks in my disabled community.
Great. So my last question is, do you have any tips you would give anybody who has a disability who's, looking for employment opportunity?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of resources out there, so it's hard to kind of get started because there's, you either don't know where to start or there's too many places to start. But just get started. There's a great job fair going on this week in Sacramento. There are others that go on throughout. So just keep your ears or eyes open. I'm going to keep my ears open a little bit more. And rely on your peers. We try to reinvent the wheel often, but there's nothing like the advice of someone that's going through a similar situation. And so, with that said, my advice for folks that are looking for jobs or looking for employment is opening a CalAble account is a great way to kind of support yourself in that, and to not just your current job situation, but what you might want for yourself in the future. And yeah.
Thank you so much for your time and for being with us, Miguel. And we'll see if there's any questions for you when we open this up. I will just say, yes, we were at a job fair here in Sacramento, Pride Industries. was here, but I will actually be down in San Diego next week on Wednesday. They do a Jobtoberfest, and it's free to anybody. And it is at Balboa Park, and they've been doing it. This will be their 26th year that they've been doing it. So CalAble will definitely be there. We've attended quite a few in the past. There's a lot of employers available there. So if people are interested in attending, that is a resource that is available, and that will be happening next Wednesday down in San Diego. So just to give that resource out there. Madeline, why don't we move to the next slide? So we will give you a few resources and reminders here. Next slide, please. So we have lots of employment resources here, as Miguel mentioned. Social Security does have a Ticket to Work program that they do. There's also a PASS program that's available through your Social Security office. The Department of Rehabilitation has their work incentive planning services. And, we have a great partnership with all of these departments, actually, with Social Security. We work with them. We work with Department of Rehabilitation. We also work with the Employment Development Department, and they also have employment services for people with disabilities. All these links are available. We have this. We also have this presentation that is on our website. And so those resources are available to you. In Pride Industries, as we mentioned, we were at a job fair with them. They are here in Sacramento. So you can also go to those websites for additional employment resources. We'll go to the next slide, please. This is our customer service center, and Daniel had mentioned also that if you had additional questions when you're opening, selecting the Able to Work portfolio, that you would want to go ahead. And so this is our call center number. It says 833-225-2253 or 833 CalAble. The call center is open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you have any additional questions or you get stuck opening a CalAble account, certainly reach out to them. They also have more than 240 languages. So if you're having an issue completing that application, reach out to them and we can get you some additional support. And we'll go to the next slide. Next month in November, as we always do our monthly webinar series, this is going to be maximizing your CalAble account. And this really is designed to talk about how you can maximize your account by the end of the year. So we will be talking about rollovers, some investment portfolio options, and just different things like that, e-gifting. We definitely want everyone to take advantage of that because December is just right around the corner. So that will be in next month. In November, we will be talking about that. Next slide, please. We always ask people to fill out the survey. If you have a question that we were not able to answer, this is a great place for you to put that question. Sometimes we get questions that are specific to that particular person. So if you would like an answer to a question, please complete the survey and put that question in, and we will get back to you. So we'll go to our next slide. This is our disclosure. Again, as I mentioned, our portfolios do have some degree of risk. So we want to make you aware of those risks that are associated with the different portfolios. We'll go to the next slide. Thank you, everybody who was on the webinar today. We really value your time, and I hope we answered all your questions. I know we had some people that this was their first time, so hopefully we started you thinking about opening the CalAble account. And we really do value your feedback on the survey, so please complete that. And we look forward to seeing you next month. at our monthly webinar on maximizing your CalAble contribution. And with that, we will say goodbye, but we hope to see you next month and have a great week. And thank you to all our ASL and interpreters. I apologize, I forgot to thank you, and our team.